Hello everybody, my name is Susie Calero. My topic for my research paper in EEX 3012 is inclusion. Inclusion in education is a belief system, also called inclusive practice. It's a philosophy. This philosophy is shared by members of the school as a learning community, which is about their responsibilities to educate all students so that all students can reach their potential. The individuals that are involved in this learning community would be the teachers, the administrators, other staff members, students, and parents. This is a practice that is now recognized by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, also known as IDEA. The concept of inclusion was introduced to the field of education by the parents of students with disabilities who began to express their dissatisfaction with the separateness of their children regarding the community in the school. In this time, students were not together with other students with disabilities. They were sometimes separate, they were housed in separate schools that did not have typical learners, or they were placed in a separate wing of the school and not treated as if they were a part of the community. The parents of these children took their took their cause to court, and they did not treat this as an educational issue. They went above that. And Madeline Will in 1986, she proposed a regular education initiative urging general education and special education teachers to work together to educate all of the students. The views about inclusive practices vary widely, and as some professional argues that the only way a school can truly demonstrate an inclusive belief system is to place nearly every student in a general education full-time. The first curriculum in inclusive practice is explicit. That is, that a curriculum that guides the instruction of typical learners, and advocates argue that it cannot truly be assessed by students with disabilities unless they fully participate in general education. The second curriculum is implicit and includes social interaction and skills that are best learned with typical learners. Inclusion benefits students because it allows for students with disabilities to interact with typical learners, and it also allows students without disabilities to be exposed to a classroom of different students. In my paper, I stated how it's so important for students who are not exposed to anybody but themselves or people that are similar to them in this world. It's so important to know the diversity that exists out there, and this is something that creates very strong communication skills, social skills, interpersonal skills, and allows students to create bonds. This also helps generate a benefit for teachers, which decreases the sense of isolation and allows for the teachers to have more opportunity of reflection and self-assessment, as well as the shared responsibilities within a classroom. This is what inclusion would look like in a classroom. All the red, blue, and yellow dots, they're all integrated and included with the green dots, so nobody's separated as you see in inclusion, in exclusion, in segregation, and integration. So, as I stated, inclusion benefits students as well as teachers, and as they have pros, there's also cons. Cons of include frustration and the feeling of competition against the students in the classroom, which can lead to frustration, and it will detriment the student to be able to reach their full potential. As I stated here, also, not all teachers are equipped with the adequate aid to support students in an all-inclusive classroom, which this is building blocks for disruptive behavior in a class, and like I stated earlier, competition to occur. According to our text in Madeline Friend, in other schools the term inclusion is used but the corresponding practices are not. So how would that benefit the students if not everybody is able to obtain the advantages that inclusion has, then not everybody's going to be able to reach their potentials. As far as pros of inclusion, there's been studies where Danmore and Murray surveyed 118 teachers in 20 urban elementary schools, and they found that both general and special education teachers generally had positive views of inclusion, which also states in the text that these high school students had with significant disabilities have been found to have positive experiences when they received at least some of their education with their peers. These are the references that I used for my presentation, and thank you all for listening, and I hope you now have an idea of what inclusion or inclusive practice is in the education field. Thank you.